this video we'll be introducing the BrightWeb mobile web engine product, which allows you to deliver mobile web applications to any browser-enabled device. The benefit of using BrightWeb is that no web programming skills are required. BrightWeb automatically generates HTML and JavaScript code for you. BrightWeb comes built in to BrightServer 7, so BrightWeb reuses the power of the BrightServer integration, which this demonstration will show you. Using BrightWeb, it is possible to design, deploy and maintain mobile web solutions using smaller teams. This demonstration will show you a fairly simple application, which is just taking a single contacts table. I've got a surname and a first name here in my contacts, and I'm going to be using BrightBuilder to show you an application actually running on the PDA first of all in the classical sense, and then I'm going to run the application on a browser. So using BrightWeb, we can run the same application, the same BSP handheld application can be running on a PDA such as Android, Windows Mobile, PDA. The same application can be running in a browser, and when we're running in a browser, we can be running on any browser-enabled device. So iPad, iPhone, you name it. See, here I have the finished application running on the PDA. This is my HTC Windows Mobile device connected via USB to this demonstration machine. So this is the actual application running on the actual device. The application is running full native Windows Mobile rich client application, so that means that it's storing its own data on the handheld. It's not running in a browser, it's able to run offline. So to run this application using BrightWeb in the browser, I just go to my BEP BrightServer configuration and say execute. Now we're here in the output window. You can see BrightServer 7 starting up, having previously deployed the BSP handheld application to the server. So for the next step, I'll just open my browser and enter localhost port 8080 /BrightServer/web. And when you go there, then you're brought to this login screen. This is the BrightWeb login screen. You can see I'm running BrightWeb version 7. If I just log in with my username and password, and the application appears in the browser. So the actual application itself allows me to list the records in the database table on this list view. Then I can go to the details screen. I can make a change. He wants to be just known as John instead of the full name Jonathan. Make a save. Go back to my other screen, and the list is updated. That change is made instantly on the database. If I just refresh this query, see the name Jonathan change to John because I just made the change in real time on the web application. So the same application running on the PDA, if I make the same change, maybe I'll change the name back again. Now I click OK and I say yes, let's make that change. That change is now just made on the PDA, and on the database we haven't seen the change yet. It's still running as John. So then I have to have a synchronization step on the PDA to send that data up to the server, and there we have the name changing. So now I would like to get into how this application is put together and show you how an application that's running on a PDA looks very similar to an application running in the web. So those of you who may have an application running already on the PDA using the Bright tools will see how you can step into mobile web application development very quickly. And those of you who may be looking at just straight mobile web applications, you should be able to see how the Bright tools hide all the requirement to be able to program in HTML and JavaScript completely away, and you'll see how the Bright tools abstract the application development quite well. So first of all, in the BEP file, which is the BrightServer configuration, we have first of all we have the table. This table was actually just brought in using the import database tables function, which connects to the SQL Server database and imports the table definitions and brings them here. And the next thing we do is we just create a sync point here, drag and drop a database, set up the database configuration details, and then drag and drop the butterfly icon, which is the client table, and then we just have the two directions. To what this shows, this tells the BrightServer that this table, the context table, is able to be read and write, so it's a two-way table, upload, download, data flow. And that is all. Then we just hit the play button on the BEP server, and we've got the server running. And the next thing we do is we create the BSP file, and so the first thing we have is the table is the same table definition. That's just copy and paste from the BEP that was discovered from the database server. And then next thing we have is a query based on top of that table, the context table, with no condition and all of the output fields. So it's a simple get all query. And then the two forms we have, first of all we have the form with a list view showing us, using the query context query, which fetches all of the contact records. We have a sync button, which is useful just for the native PDA. So here we have script to sync the contacts with the server, send the contacts first, go and get any more changes from the server, fire the sync, and then update the screen display. The other button we have here takes us to Form 2. On Form 2, what we have here are two edit fields. Using the data binding feature, we can add, create, modify records. All the fields are automatically loaded and saved using the data binding feature. Back on Form 1, when we have a post-close expression called details post-close that we want to run just to refresh the list view when we come back from the details page. So that is the walkthrough of this basic application that shows you what's involved to get a web application up and running in your browser, what's involved to get that same application running on a native, all using the power of Bright Builder and the power of the BrightWeb mobile web engine. There is one more thing to add to this demonstration, and that is how our aspects feature works with BrightWeb. So you might have noticed how the web application running here, and also the PDA application. This application was originally designed for the PDA screen, and so the screen size that you get and the usable client area that you get on the web page is small compared to the overall size of the browser, which is the full size of the screen. So here's a perfect example where we would like to use the Bright Aspects feature to be able to... BrightWeb can automatically detect, using aspects, the screen size that it's being projected upon, and then we can use a different screen size, and we have the opportunity to define other layouts using aspects within Bright Builder, and that's what I'll demonstrate now as the final touch to this application, demonstration application. So on Form 1 is the one I want to change because we've got a list view that's not very big. So I'll go to the layout on this. First of all, I'll just go to my project properties. Project properties aspects. So what I've done is I've just gone ahead and I've already created a web aspect. I've just gone new aspect to here. and we're going to make it 800 by 600 pixels. And the way that aspect works in the browser is you then provide browser identifiers to BrightWeb. So Mozilla is the client identifier for the browser that I'm using. It happens to be Internet Explorer, but that comes up as Mozilla as one of the keywords. And if there's a keyword match there, this is a keyword matching in the client browser identifiers, then this aspect will be enabled. So that aspect's already part of my project. So to bring that aspect to this existing form, I just right click and go to my aspects and then bring that aspect in. Now what you see here is that the blue dotted line shows the overall size of all the aspects put together. So the base aspect, the form is only this big. Form properties can show you exactly how big it is. So that's now 350 by 240, which is a great size for my HTC device, but not so great for my web. So I'll go to my web aspect, and all of a sudden I can use the whole 800 by 600 space. In fact, what I can also do is this sync button is relatively useless in the BrightWeb world. So for my sync button, let's bring back this screen a bit, I can turn the visibility flag of my sync button off. So the sync button will now not even show on the web operation. I'm just going to take my list view so that my list view will now become the dominant feature. So I just want to move my details button up to the top because I'm just going to totally use up all the space I've got available for my list. The list is the control we want to have the most possible real estate to. So now I've reconfigured my screen, my form, to utilize this new web aspect. Form 2 is maybe not so important because it's just a simple form here. I could maybe get to that later, but for this demonstration I'll just modify form 1. Make the change, hit the save button. So now I'll just deploy to my running server the changes that I'm making. Added web aspect to demonstration. So version 9 I'm up to. Make sure that the user that I am is configured to use version 9. Instead of using version 8, now use version 9. Upload that change to the server. Tells me this preview configurations dialog does a quick snapshot of the configuration on BrightServer that's running right now, and a snapshot of the configuration that I've just been modifying, and it does a difference, and this shows you all the changes that you've just made. Simply I've just made the one change to the application version for my user 1. Proceed with the update. That's now live on the server. So if I log out my user, log back in again, so now I can see the full 800 by 600 resolution of that screen. It gives me the maximum view of that list view. So I've got that still running like a not more optimized view on the web compared to our optimized view on the handheld. So you're still using the aspects feature, you can optimize your layouts to every different type of viewport size. Well, that concludes this demonstration. I hope you found this demonstration helpful. Be sure to check out more how-to videos on brightexpress.com.